May from
Oh.
Ireland. And Irish
Right,
is.
I got it all
spelled
set up for you.
MED.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Changes, additions, or things to the agenda? So our first item on the agenda should be a couple of appointments, and we're not sure who has to be. I know one has to be appointed, one may have to be approved, but we're going to go through that.
Understood.
So I am appointing Karen Shepherdson as the new village clerk. She's taken on some of those duties already, but officially I appointed
Accepted.
Karen and she has accepted it.
May I make a quick comment about
After
that?
a little bit of finagling. Yeah.
This is also after a period of looking and seeking other people for the position as well. I want to make sure people understand there was a search that was done for this from the village, so it's very important in order to do that. So thank you for accepting, Karen.
And so I
Thank you for
would,
accepting.
with that appointment, I would like to make a motion that we would increase Karen's salary to $60,000 annually.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, 1 second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, I don't know if I appoint it or we do a motion, so we're gonna do a motion just to cover our bases. To appoint Gwen as our deputy clerk.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Gwen has been an employee here for, I don't know the exact how long time, but
2.5
for
years.
a little while here. And a Fayetteville resident and has worked well with Karen and Lori in the past and will continue to not only work with them, but take on a few more responsibilities as we kind of reorganize that office in general that we've all talked about. I'd also like to have a motion that we would increase Gwen's salary to $23.50 an hour.
so moved. Second.
Second.
Okay. You're all going to tie tonight.
Very. Personnel.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then lastly, I have interviewed and had some responses from a few people that would like to come here and work in that office also. And the person that I am recommending for us to hire, I don't have a hire date because this person has to give her notice at her job that she's currently working at, but I want to get it approved. So when she's ready to come to us, that we're ready for her. And that is hire Patty Wortley. We won't give any kind of a title at this point, but we may add that as deputy clerk as time goes by, or should we say that now? I don't know. It's that's what I gave her the job description as. So maybe we'll say as a
Yeah.
secondary or second deputy clerk. That has been the practice in the village in the past. When Marty was here, we had a couple of people that were deputy clerks, so that's not unusual or different for the
Yeah.
village. And that rate would be at $28.50 an hour based upon her experience and what she's bringing to the table to the village.
Any move?
And
Yeah,
Second.
I'd just like to comment, I worked with Patty on Lehigh County Planning Agency. She's very efficient, very knowledgeable. And I think she will be an asset to the village. I hope that, you know, she decides that when she does come, that, you know, it's the right place for her. So she's very good.
Jane, you seconded that?
So Karen, this is a question for you, because I don't know if we know the answer right now, but maybe we should put it as a motion and take care of it now, but for check signing to put Gwen's name on the accounts, I don't know if we have to take. I know there was some confusion about Lori looking at the book work for one more month or whatever with us and stuff,
Right.
so
But eventually we'll have the duties ledger. I don't think it requires a motion, but.
the bank may want to see something that.
But you can
shows
note
why
that that would be part of her duties as deputy clerk.
So can we add that to the motion of deputy clerk that Gwen
Is the alternate
would be the
signer.
alternate signer on village banking business? So everybody's okay with whoever made and seconded the motions, that's all good to add that
Yes.
to that part of the motion? Okay, just to make sure we have our bases covered, because the financially it requires a mayor, deputy mayor, or deputy clerk to sign our checks, and it can't be two of the same title with people, so. Just want to make sure we're covered, but also Lori is coming back at the end of this month to balance out our books and stuff, so she might still need access, so we'll figure that
We're
out.
still
with-
in transition.
We'll figure that out with the bank is when we actually turn stuff over one way or the other, but just to make sure that we don't have too many people or the right people when we need them to be there. Okay. Congratulations, both of you. That term is for 25 years, I think.
Yeah.
Well, at least 18, that's.
Right behind your 30,
And you
right?
can count time served for towards your 18 years if you want to. Well, not you, Karen, but Gwen, you don't got a couple.
We're past that.
Our meeting minutes from September 22nd.
I move to accept the minutes.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Our abstract number 7 dated today.
Yep, I have an abstract in the amount of $227,244.93. And this was audited by both Dan and Jane.
So moved.
Moved and
Second.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Fire department.
Volunteers. We have two. Eva. And she wants to do medic. Medic. Wants to do medical. So
Yeah.
Kara, her last name is. Carafa.
it's Eva.
Eva
Carafa.
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 Let's see how you do with the next one.
And
We already went through that. Paul.
moved by Dan,
Second.
second by Katie. Everything's been checked off
I have another one.
and these all been
Fires.
checked off and things.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, second one is,
What are we moving?
these are applications. for
Shahina?
volunteers
We're applying to be volunteers.
For the fire department.
Outback Cova. Shahina, Outback Cova. I think I did.
I don't do it purposely.
I'm pretty good on that. Oh, Chief, once again, she was part of the,
Moved by Dan,
A second.
seconded by Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
that's it. All the guests get the next.
I have one more, Aiden Coomans. He's a mutual aid rider. He's from the Hogansburg Aquasasne Volunteer Fire Department. He's moved down here for 18 months. I got a letter from his chief. And we've interviewed him twice. Sounds like he's gonna be a pretty good person to fit in for 18 months, so that'd be nice.
So moved.
Don't
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I sent something out for a new full-time hire. We had a guy kind of fall in our lap and we had an opening, so we needed to move kind of quickly on him. Jeremy Florzik. We hired him as a paramedic to replace Jacob Haas. Mike had given me the approval, but formally to do it in a board meeting.
so moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, you're in favor if you're moving it, so. Don't sense.
Part-time hire, we're bringing back an oldie but a, well, youngie but a goodie, Lincoln McGarity, who just came off probation in Syracuse. He left us to go to Syracuse. And he wants to come back and work part-time. So we'll bring him back.
Moved by Dan,
Second.
moved by Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I would think that with all the money he's making in there, he doesn't have to do part time.
I waited for him to pay us back all of his the money. he owed us.
About time.
Yep. Okay, so
We never get paid then.
we did this time. I forwarded out something that we received our staffing grant from the federal government for $1.377 million. we've officially accepted it. What I wanted to do was just give you an overview of, it's 4 positions for 3 years. Our portion of the expenditure will be 188,000. Hold on. Our portion of the expenditure is 114,762 for 2 years and 298,381 the last year. So that gives us an exposure for $527,000 and the federal government $849,000. And that
Did
includes,
you say you sent that out?
Huh?
Did you say you sent that out?
I sent it to the village board.
It was a little while ago. I don't remember the
okay.
date.
That was
but
probably the beginning of, or the end of September, I think.
Thank you.
That includes the fringe benefits, that includes training, paying for the training. So
and this is to add staff.
add the 4 staff members that we talked about when we
Right.
wrote the grant.
No, I'm just making, clarifying it, not questioning it.
Yep.
So those will be, that's money that we will put in. When do we start putting money in?
So we're not gonna hire anybody probably until I get the next academy date. And we'll probably bring them in a month earlier than that. And that's when the clock will start ticking.
Okay.
So we'll probably be into my budget 3 or 4 months. And then we'll put in for a abstract from the federal government to reimburse us for that 3 months. We'll kind of do quarterly to get it back. So we might be on the hook for a little bit before we get to the new budget, but we'll figure it out. Okay. I don't think it'll be a ton. And I don't know, next academy probably won't be until March or early April, so
So it has to be, everybody has to be new, right?
yes. And I can take laterals through it, so that would benefit us as
Okay,
well.
so which probably wouldn't have to go to the academy.
They would not have to go to the academy, so if I could get a lateral, that
Yeah.
wouldn't be a bad thing, but they do have to be a new hire.
So, I'm in favor of this, but I'm curious when these grant monies are done in 4 years.
3, the 4th year will be on the hook for all of it.
Okay, 3 years then. So that's my question. The folks that we've hired will, when it all works out and they want to stay with us and we want them to stay with us, then we have to be ready for those salaries.
Yep. And again, you know, we're fortunate enough that the building's paid for this year.
Yeah.
It's paid off.
Yeah.
So
A
to
little bit of leeway there.
not have to worry about raising taxes, we have the money sitting there. You know, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
getting free money is a good thing too sometimes.
yeah, no, but you have to, it's never free. You just have
Yeah.
to plan for it.
Thank you.
It is never free. And once we have them, it'll cut down on the overtime.
It should cut down, yeah, because I've been trying to play around with some different staffing models. And I'm probably gonna go back to creating a float position that will help eliminate some of that overtime that we've been having.
Yeah, okay.
And hopefully we get more volunteers. I mean, that's all we can hope for. So. But I'm really feeling the pinch right now with the 2 at the academy. That's the driving factor and. So much. Hopefully when they come back, that'll let me make some money back up.
That's all, there's a lot of openings.
There's a lot of openings.
So move.
Second,
We've discussed it, all in favor? Okay.
Okay, so I guess this is another good piece of good news. We've been talking with an individual, the Galua Foundation. The Galua Foundation has given us a donation of $300,000, $75,000 a year for 4 years. And his intent was to pay for the ambulance with that. Since we've been going down that road of the lease and in motion with the lease, I wanted to just take that money and pay for the lease on the ambulance, and then we have to get the equipment for the ambulance still. So putting those both together would take care of the lease. The thought is he has to donate it to a 501c3. So the corporation is a 501c3. That's where he's been donating his $25,000 a year for the last 6 years. They're willing to take that money and pay the lease payments on those two items so that we wouldn't have to pay them. Initially, we would be on the hook just on paper. And if something happened, then we'd still be on the hook for them. But the Galua Foundation he's been giving us money for 6 years, and they have to give so much money away every year to keep their finances going, I guess. I don't know how that really works, but whatever.
So this is for the third ambulance or
This is-
for the?
The third ambulance that
I
we,
just want again, just for
Yep.
clarification for everybody, you and I have talked about it, but I mean,
Okay.
just so everybody knows what it's
And
for.
it's gonna be village ambulance,
Yep.
not an association.
Correct. Everything's gonna be owned by the village. So the lease that we committed to a couple board meetings ago. 33,648.82, that was for the third ambulance. The total for that was 143, because we're using all the trade-ins, all 3 trade-ins to go toward that ambulance. It was 263, then that was 263, it gave us 120. So we put all that on those 3 ambulances on that, brought the nut down to 143, which equates to $33,000. 648 a year. So. With that. I need to get the equipment for the ambulance. That lease payment for 4 years is $24,495.91. That is the lift system and the stretcher to go in the back of the new ambulance. I'd like approval to sign a lease for that.
So does everybody understand the financing behind this or where it's coming from? So the 2 payments together are less than the $75,000 that they are committing to for the 4 years.
Yep.
And that's what is going to be used to pay for the use of the third ambulance that we committed to already. And also that equipment that needs to go into the ambulance for use of the.
Can you just spell that Glure? Does it spell GLUER?
Galua Foundation, yep. I don't have the spelling in front of me.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask him that later too.
Okay. So we have a motion to allow him to sign a lease to get the equipment.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions about the whole program or system? All in favor? Aye.
I know it's confusing. I know there's a lot of moving parts with it. It'd be easier if he could donate it right to the village and the village did what they had to do, but he has to be able to write it to a 501(c)(3) and
I have a question on that, Paul. I didn't talk to you about it before, but I'm aware because of the tax exempt status of the municipality versus a 501(c)(3), I don't know whether or not they are considered the same in many situations or not. And that's why not 100% sure, and I know legally that's where I'd have to go and talk to someone like Ted along the way to see what really makes sense or what's going on, but the way it's set up now, I'm perfectly fine to work with it because it does fill the purpose.
Yep. I did to briefly talk to Ted if this was kosher to do. And basically, I think we're on the same page. It's kosher as long as, the village is on the hook. So if the foundation went belly up or the association said we're not paying it, the village is still on the hook. And obviously the only part,
We were hooked whether you got
Correct.
the
Yeah.
donation or not.
correct.
We all agreed to that.
Yep.
So that's why I'm totally comfortable with all of this.
Yep.
Yeah, this is not looking at spending new money, if you know what I mean.
No,
This is
I
the money we've
understand.
already committed to.
That's what
Correct.
I'm saying, is we've already made this.
Correct,
decision.
and the Firemen's Association has donated
Yes,
it
no.
funds
they're
and
very-
equipment and different things throughout the
They're very
years to the
supportive.
village, so I don't have any, hesitation about working again with all the parties involved. Yeah, whoever, even though we're not working directly with the foundation that's given the money, I'm very comfortable in the whole process of what's been explained and what people are committing to, that they are going to continue down those paths.
The village is
Which I
ahead of
think
the
we all
game.
are too.
Village is ahead of the game, and I'm very thankful for that. That's really what it's about.
And I'll be able to redo the capital budget and move that money out of my capital budget to make sure and show wherever it goes next. So,
Can I ask a question that you probably already answered, I just don't recall? At the end of the lease for the ambulance, Are we then owners of the ambulance?
Yeah.
All right, so it's a lease to own.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a creative
Wait,
financing situation, I guess. We've been doing, I mean, the DPW's been doing them too. We've been doing them for a long time.
it's about the only way you can bring these heavy equipments in, yes.
See, and some of them you can do turn-ins and stuff like, I think they do some turn-in stuff down there.
Yeah.
We did that with the fire trucks, the 2 fire trucks. It's a 10-year lease with a balloon payment that the vendor committed to, so basically it's the same thing as a turn-in lease, because here you go, we get 2 new ones that. So instead of paying that whole balloon payment in for 10 years.
Right.
You know, they're on the hook for it, so.
So I don't know if we officially voted, but all in favor of proceeding with this?
Aye.
Something at
Accepting
Yeah.
it, yep, okay.
That's all, thank you,
So
that's enough.
so we're not spending money, we're just getting money?
Yeah.
Too bad Mark isn't here. He'd be proud of you.
Let me give you my card. We'll be all set, Paul.
Tell him to make sure and watch this portion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just being antagonized by your spending. DPW, Tyler isn't here, but Jane, I don't know. If
Yeah.
you had some conversation.
I
about
did.
that stuff too.
DPW is doing well with its staffing. Feels very good. It's getting caught up with some of its, regular day-to-day work. I'm still looking for a mechanic. That hasn't happened yet. As you all have probably witnessed, they're out there accepting all of the remnants of our gardens and lawn work and picking up leaves as they're presented to them. For everybody paying attention, just bear in mind, you got 2 more weeks to get your lawn material, gardening and all of that out onto the side, and they'll pick it up. But as soon as November starts, all that stuff is just gonna hang, and they're just gonna pick up leaves because it is such, because we're such a leafy village. So, otherwise, he said, the work that's been done on the roadways is good, has been good and on time, and he feels good about it. Not much else to report. Anybody have any questions about what's going on with DPW, their work?
The mechanic position has been open for a really long time, I don't know how long. And I wonder if we need to look at the hourly wage in order to attract someone.
It's in their contract right now, so we have to go by the contract price unless we were to open up the contract and change that, so.
And how long does that go?
We
Contract?
just signed it, so 3 years from this year.
3 more years. So there's, it has not hamstrung them yet.
There's also the potential to find a part-time mechanic
Yeah.
that would not be necessarily under the contractual
Right.
price, that we could pay whatever we feel is mutually beneficial to the DPW, the village, and the person that we're hiring. So there is a way around some of that without getting a full-time mechanic
So the-
involved, so.
The search is still out there, and they have used. They have been creative working with local municipalities who have mechanics, Village Manlius and so forth. So when the need arises, that they've been able to address their needs.
Mhm.
I do think that is a conversation we all should really be, working with Tyler on when we go through the budget. Is there a way, is there something we could do? Is there something, some other way to look at it? But, you're right, the mechanic position has been open for some time. But then other 2 hires, the staffing positions are filled, and he said they're doing well, so that's good news.
But we still have the opening for the deputy.
I don't know that that's an opening. I didn't think we made that final decision.
Well, we've always had a deputy, that's still, that position needs to be filled at some point with someone.
Okay.
Either somebody from within or somebody from without, but.
Yeah.
We haven't appointed somebody as deputy, let's put
Right.
it that way, so
Yeah.
it could be just. As it was in the past, somebody that is currently there, or it could be somebody coming in to be there. we could be looking at, I've had some conversations with Tyler about it, but no definitive answer about it just yet. About a foreman as opposed to a deputy, but that brings in other ramifications as far as contractual types of stuff is concerned, and so. We haven't gotten to a final answer to that just yet.
I think needless to say, we've had some fluctuation in our staffing. DPW, clerk's office, and I think right now everybody's doing okay, but I do think that there's some further discussions needed.
Right.
For-
It's not just been set aside, let's put it that way too. It's not been forgotten about. It's been talked about, but it just needs to be. Sometimes I think, and just like in this particular clerk's office with the DPW. Working in a different perspective of the same jobs that people were doing, because Tyler obviously was doing a lot of what he does now. Just like Karen's been doing a lot of what she's gonna be doing up till now. But having the change of like not having that other key person here is gonna put a different perspective on how they look at stuff. So I've just been trying to get them, or want to try and give them a little bit of time to get their grasp on what they need or who they need, and then kind of move forward that way too, or whatever. So, but I'm glad you brought it up because it's a good thing to keep talking about it to make sure that we don't lose track of or sight of certain things that we have to do.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Just before we go to the clerk, I've received the town of Manlius had their public hearing regarding our fire contract that we had proposed to them last week, and it was approved by the town board for contracting with us for fire protection and ambulance EMS protection. And the amount of the contract is $2,480,000 and $2,480,026 is the amount. And that was approved. So I have an electronic contract to sign with them, so I know we already approved our parts of the budget and everything, but just to formally get a motion for the board for me to sign that contract with the town of Manlius for fire protection, so we get our money to pay for half the year that we've already spent our money, or the 5 months of what we've already spent out of our money.
So moved. I know what you're doing.
So this contract is for 2025, 2026.
Is for, well, their year of 2026.
Their year.
Our year of 25 to 26. So our year starts in June.
Yeah.
Their year starts in January, so they're always like catching up to
So they
paying us.
finished this contract negotiations. And from their perspective, it's to begin in 26.
Right, their tax dollars that they're collecting from the town of Manlius Fire Protection District will be collected in January's taxes of 26. Which pays us from our fire budget goes from 25, June 1st of 25, May 31st. So from June 1st until, so we get our fire money, say in January, well, not January, you should get February-ish or so. And so when we get our money in February from the town of Manlius, that is kind of putting it back through to,
I get that, but what's weird is how we work our budget without knowing.
well, that's why we invite them. Well, they pretty much approve what we give them because they're kind of have to in a way, but they don't have to. So we have them involved in our budget time frame of knowing what we're doing and how we're doing it. We've invited them to
fire.
budget to the
Yeah.
fire. We've
Okay.
invited,
That's
say,
fine.
Sarah
Yeah,
or someone
yeah.
from the town to be here
Yeah.
to hear our budget workshops or hear and ask questions and things when it comes to fire department stuff. They've been for the many years pretty actively doing that. I don't know if they came last year too much, but other years they have been a little more active with that.
And it's actually been pretty active the last few years because there's been somebody from the town at the budget workshops, particularly for fire.
Right,
Well, Sarah's always here too.
Yeah.
So.
right.
Did they, the other villages,
The other
So-
villages all got approved. There was
did they
no,
go up?
kind of. Yeah, the two mayors showed up this year.
God bless them.
Yeah. So, in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Who seconded it?
Oh, did
Mark?
anybody second?
I thought Danny did.
Did you second? All right, just wanted to formally make sure we all.
No, I understand.
To know what we're doing.
I don't have
A
anything.
new clerk, everything.
Just put it there just in case.
Okay.
Nothing this
You
time.
don't want to give an opening statement?
Thank you for having confidence in me. I will do my best to support you.
That's a
That's
beautiful.
the best statement we ever heard. Next is, I put on here for a village audit, so Dan's been on the board for longer than I, and since I've been on the board, one village clerk retired, that being Marty Lynch, and Lori came to replace him. And now Lori has retired, so Karen is coming into play here and things as the clerk. And when Marty retired, we felt it was best to have like an audit done of the village books and just kind of have somebody come in and give an overview and look at it. It doesn't have to be, I'm not sure how thorough or in-depth they went to look at it,
Thorough.
but just kind of like yeah, I don't mean that it's just gonna be a glance over, but it's gonna be like somebody just to kind of come in and say, okay, it kind of gives us like a benchmark, if you want to say that. So, okay, when Marty left here, everything was found to be in order, nothing was out of place, nothing was out of order or any kind of questionable types of activities. Lori's now left us, and I don't believe that there would be any kind of thing that we would be looking for, particularly other than just, like I say, kind of a break from one person to the next, and then kind of a benchmark of if anything ever does become amiss, we could say, well, up to here, everything was good going forward. This is where we should focus on if there was anything that ever. So I don't want to put any doubts in anybody's minds that might be watching or amongst ourselves that there's any questions about anything that's been done. I think it's a matter of good
The
practice.
precaution, because Karen's taken over and technically she's responsible.
Right.
To assume.
So I don't have a
We-
proposal.
We have that, we have an audit every year, right? A minor audit.
When they do that annual report.
Yeah, and they do upstairs too.
Well, the court does.
Yeah, yeah, okay, so.
But this would be just something separate from what we normally would be
Yeah.
doing and just to make sure that everything.
Yeah, and,
Transition audit.
Yeah, that's nothing.
It's a good word.
and we're looking at a couple different possibilities to do the books.
Right, I don't have a proposal for anybody or cost involved just yet for tonight. I just wanted to mention it so that you were thinking about it. And I have two people that I intend to ask for proposals on that. Dan has somebody in mind. If somebody else knows of somebody that they want to suggest that we get a cost from or something, I'm welcome to have you give me the ideas of who's contact or whatever. But we have two people that I know of for sure, and probably a third person, so we should be able to get a few different quotes. And
Once again, Ted can correct me if I'm wrong. It is a professional service, so we don't have to necessarily take the, you know. That's correct. Okay, thank you.
okay, next we have a grant management proposal that I think everybody got a copy of by email. Mark, do you want to speak to this or? do you
Actually,
want-
this is a continuation of our working on the Climate Smart Community Walkable Payable Grant we're working with. Part of this was we've worked with the Central New York Regional Planning and Development as they actually did the application for us and everything else and to work for this. And at the time, Lori and Mayor Olson, we were all working together on this to make sure that everything was done properly. And we actually talked them down money wise on this because it was the kind of thing, we're talking about a project that's $150,000. And so they pulled it down to more, what I considered a more reasonable number. And so this is just a continuation of that. And the other part is it's there basically help us with our when we put in our materials that we need to in order for reimbursement, et cetera. So it's a very important piece for us because we've got a lot of transitions going on right now in our village office. And so that was one of the reasons why we knew this was going to be the piece that got here. And we're actually over a year down the road from when we originally put everything in for this grant, just so everybody knows. So this has been a long, long time going. It's been, you learn, you keep staying in there and keep slugging at things or else it doesn't happen. And even with this, it still is not going to be complete until next week when Karen and I have to sit down with DEC and Central New York Regional Planning and Development in order to go through all of that so that we can actually start going and getting this actually moving. That's the other piece. What do we got in here?
Yeah.
Flying right by that picture right here in the corner.
A
It should
June
be.
bug that.
Oh, I don't worry about June bugs. They're non-poisonous. That's okay. So I would move that we basically approve the grant proposal.
So is this a proposal?
For
provided-
management.
Yeah, just the management of the, right?
Did you say we all received
Of
a,
what grant?
Yeah.
I
Sidewalk
emailed
grant?
them
Sidewalk.
separately last Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. Did you, is this a motion?
Mark made a motion to accept their assistance
You want a
and
copy of those?
you can have
I'll
this.
second.
There's extra copy.
I,
Oh, she needs this part too.
Came out to everybody.
Same thing.
who, Mark,
That's- that's
who
the-
are
that's
you
the
guys
extra
working with the
proposal.
C1?
Oh, this is
Amanda?
the proposal.
That's
I
actually.
think that's all the papers, Casey. Yeah, so I mean, not to digress, but in the process of Lori's leaving, she did meet with someone, and I've talked to each of you individually about looking at our finances and looking at how we move forward in the clerk's office about our finances and things like that. One of the people that she spoke to has very much experience in, as an example, in federal grants like we are getting for the bridge on Franklin Street. And in order to fulfill all the required paperwork and documentation, things like that, to be able to obtain the grant money, sometimes it's worth the money, like in this particular case that Mark's talking about. Sometimes it's advantageous to hire somebody to assist in that process so that nothing falls through the cracks on our end or anybody else's end, so that the grant is fulfilled and we receive those funds and that money or whatever. So that was kind of the intention when this grant was proposed and put in for. It was, now this is just kind of the fruition of that original plan that was talked about, as
Yeah.
Mark said.
Yeah, we knew that we needed to have flexibility moving down the road because of what was going on. We felt this was really important part. And, when we put together $150,000 program, this, and to have it administered properly by people who do it every day from different folks just like us, this is an important piece for you.
We have a motion by Mark. We have a
I moved on.
second.
Second.
Okay. Other discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Parking on the first, well, I'll just say the block of, it may not be more than
Yeah.
100 block, but the
No,
first,
it's more than 100. It's
the block between
the
Genesee
block
Street
between
and Clinton
Genesee and
Street.
Clinton.
Okay,
And so I'm telling these people as I go along, profession proposal, I'll make a motion on it. I told them we would be doing it on October 27th, making a motion. And so if we could get this on the website, this is a quick little proposal. The proposal will simply say, at the corner of Warren and Genesee, on both sides, there'll be signs that indicate no parking here to corner. I'll give you. And on the west side of Orange Street, between Genesee, Route 5 and Clinton Street, there'll be no parking. And the people then, mostly cooperative, so. There's the one issue I got where I can't get into that lady's house. You know what I mean?
Can I ask a question?
No way to get there.
Well, Warren Street is pretty narrow. I mean, I've
Well,
driven it many times and I get the no parking need, but why on the west side only is it going to Clinton, but not on the east side?
Why on the
No
west side?
parking.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my thoughts on the west side. The west side, you have a lot of traffic that comes up Warren heading north. Okay, so that's they're on
Towards
the east
Genesee.
side. They're on the east side.
Yeah.
They're headed north on Warren. On the other side is you have people turning off the major or the amount of traffic on the Street, the road on Warren Street is more suitable to a flow of traffic without any parking on the east side, so the east side will be. No parking, I mean, what?
The west side, okay.
Yeah.
No parking.
Yeah,
So if you're coming up Genesee
Yeah,
Street and
it's
you
easier.
turn right onto Warren Street, there would be no parking on that side of the street on your right hand side.
I
Your
get,
parking would be on this side. On the west side is a fire hydrant down there, that other Cedar
Beach.
Street, there, Beach Street that
yeah,
goes
there's
in
a
there.
fire.
And
there's
there's
a lot of, my thinking is that I don't know this, but I'm guessing there's a lot, just so many curb cuts. There would be like one or two, we're only eliminating two,
Very
maybe three
small.
parking spaces
yeah.
on the street. There's a lot of curb cuts because the houses are very close up to the curb.
street, right?
Yeah. And they all have these, they're narrow as well. So you've got all these driveway curb cuts. Okay, that's fine.
I believe you have more parking places if you
On that,
park on
yes.
the,
Okay,
on the east side, yeah.
okay, let's say you're entering,
Yes.
you're coming down Warren Street.
East,
Okay,
west.
you get
I only
the,
know it, Fayetteville.
you can see what's ahead of you.
I don't know, east or west.
If you are coming off Genesee Street heading back toward Clifton, you can't see what's ahead of you because you make that turn and then all of a sudden there's a car there. Now I gotta swerve out around that car. The person coming or people, whoever, and is quite a bit of traffic because of the apartments down.
It's
And
not just the apartments. I think Warren Street has become for many folks who don't want to deal with the mess up here
They cut off.
and they know the village. They literally cut through Warren and try to get onto, they go to Warren, they go to Lincoln, they go up and they go out. I don't have no problem with that.
they go Warren, Warren,
Yeah,
Walnut or Chapel, yeah.
yeah, and then they go out, right. I think Warren is the first.
It's the first shot, yes, you're right about
Trying
that.
to get out of there, yeah,
So if you're taking a right off Genesee onto Warren.
yeah.
You've got a clear shot. If you're coming up, the other way headed north, you don't, if there's cars parked there, so. That's the best way to go.
Is there any thought about making it a one-way? It is a narrow street.
Well, it's only narrow, it's not any more narrow than a place like Spring Street
No,
or Orchard Street.
he's right.
But there's a curve.
Yeah.
The curb's what does it. If we made it one way, there was a suggestion by the people that live up on the corner, who,
So
by the way, painted their chicken white.
That was important to know.
Blew my mind.
Used to by the cemetery, they had that big chicken, remember that? They're on
It
Warren.
blew my mind.
They're very artistic.
Okay,
Just
they
changed
did
their-
suggest that, and I looked at it, but we already have one way.
Didn't ask Danny permission.
Walnut.
Yep.
We would have to readjust if we were gonna do that as one way. I don't know which way we could do it.
I'm not a fan of one-way streets in any. Under most circumstances. I'm sure there
I
are some
would- Yeah,
circumstances.
I would do
I
that.
would rather take parking off of one side of the street.
Because I've been in line coming down the hill, watching people try to turn left onto that street. And it's a nightmare. With the amount of traffic going up and
Yeah.
down that street,
Yeah,
part of me says that the safety part of it would be the best just to make it a one-way, but I get it.
I'd rather
Many
make
of-
no left-hand turn.
Yeah.
So they stop doing that. Just go
Oh.
all the way down under the bridge.
You can't do that because that people would be, they'd be encased. They couldn't leave that side of the village.
We have a no left turn coming out of Limestone Plaza onto Genesee Street, and I can't tell you how many cars come up.
I'm trying to understand why that no turn is
Genesee
even
Street.
there.
They're like, no one's
I know.
watching.
But anyway, I'll be on the next agenda
Okay.
then.
As a motion. As a motion.
Yes,
I would like a map of what we're talking about. And it sounds like we have a couple of different things here and a couple of streets that are problematic. Chief gave a little bit of input on this. I'd like to know a little bit about DPW's input. And could we consult with Barton and Judas or I don't, Jake, you tell me
I,
about, if we do one street. And then it's just gonna go over to the next street, so that we're looking at this a little bit more holistically.
I think Casey's, I'm not trying to dissuade a decision on Warren Street, but I do think Casey's raising a point that I'm very familiar with because I live on one of the very narrow streets. And there are times myself when have to decide whether to back up or to try to squeeze through. And I do think of emergencies. Now, it's a very short street. And I think, well, you know, I just, so there may be a need for us to take a hard look, I think it's just on this side. And I don't think it's up where you live. I don't think you have your streets that narrow.
Hopefully is narrow and has that.
Not, Huntley's not narrow like these are narrow.
Okay,
But anyway, my point is maybe we can bring someone in to do,
I don't know if we have to bring anybody in
Right.
and pay for it. I
Right.
think
That's
that
right.
we
I don't
just
mean
need,
that.
I just think that we can
Son.
look at them in general, but at the last meeting, I suggested putting up one sign. And you don't
Yeah.
like the ideas of signs,
think so.
everybody, I don't either, so
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you
Yeah.
or saying it for that reason. I'm just saying, you start doing every block of every street,
Yeah.
you're gonna put a no parking sign up and
Yeah.
down each street on
Yeah,
one
I
side. That's gonna be a problem, that's also gonna be problematic, so I think that the suggestion is good. I think we should look at it, but we should be more focused on the exact areas of where we might wanna do something like that, and I didn't know, I'm not suggesting that you said we should do it differently than that. I'm just saying, like, going up and down the whole neighborhood. If no parking on one side, but I would say
Part of-
that we address the problems as they kind of come forward to us and that we experience them. Unless we've had a problem in the past with certain things, then I think we look at it at
Yeah.
certain times, certain functions. When the library has something going on, they park on all those streets around the library. That would be a good time to like focus on that area perhaps as
It's
an
a
example or whatever.
temporary no parking signs.
Yeah, I mean, just to see what should happen or how it should happen or what we might recommend to certain people for that time frame or whatever.
A broader review may lead to something. It could also lead to complete,
I'll,
like literally it's functioning, let it be. It's people function. They're doing fine. My Green Street, there's been no accidents. There's been no fatalities. There's been no there's been no accidents of any kind. And I'll tell you, the volume of crisscross and mismatch is impressive, but everybody familiar with that street knows that.
would never think
The
of
other
green
thing
as
is,
across
you're
the
creating
street.
a shortcut for people.
Yeah,
you're
that's
trying to
different.
move traffic from,
Yes.
a lot of traffic through a neighborhood, that's, I don't know that I would want. I would rather have to zigzag a little bit, slows the traffic down, you're gonna speed the traffic up in those 2 blocks by possibly. Is.
Well, the
because
first
we-
block of Warren Street is where there are more houses closer together.
They are,
Their driveways are smaller than
Right, yeah.
larger.
yes.
And that does create particularly when they have guests at their homes, that people park along that block of the street. When people park on both sides of that street, you can't get fire equipment down there. That's why we're considering,
I get it for that.
that
sake, but
particular
you do
block.
it Other parts.
Yeah.
Of the thing, you're gonna create people speeding more. Say if you did it on my street, Redfield, so you do it here, okay, safety, but you do it on my street. People are already speeding down it, you don't let people park there, then, they're gonna speed even more.
I think Mary raises a very good point about how in our village, with the width of our streets, we are all paying attention, even if we're cutting through. We cut through slowly, but it still feels a little bit more, I don't know, it's a preference for many people. They don't want to come the main way, which if you really just think about it, oftentimes you're creating a longer distance for yourself. But everybody's
Well,
raising good points, and so a comprehensive review may take longer, but it doesn't.
Definitely if a fire truck can't get down, that's one thing, but otherwise you're creating a shortcut that people will speed.
sometimes in the morning, with the school traffic, I have to wait 5 minutes to get out of my driveway.
Where are they
Because of
coming
the
from?
buses?
They're cutting through and buses. But I wanna live there, I don't wanna live someplace else.
No, I agree.
Don't get me wrong.
well, we'll keep all of this in mind
wait the
and
5
work on
minutes.
it and work towards
I'm just
finding out
saying,
about
other
stuff.
You can also do something
You're creating
temporary.
cut through.
We don't have to make it always so permanent and
Right, and
run for 3 months.
I think in the meantime, as individuals and we drive around the village and all of us, I'm sure drive
Not on
around
Warren Street.
different streets. I drive down the street all the time, never found it.
He goes Walnut all the time.
I'm just saying, as we go through stuff, I know
He
Casey
goes
goes to
that way
the
all the
library, I know you travel like that area of the village too, so it's not like that we can't be observant ourselves as we drive around and kind of come back to some kind of consensus about where areas are that we should look at a little more diligently.
And the
perhaps,
other
or
reason it
whatever.
gets so much traffic is because of the bumps on Mill Street.
Oh.
People miss the
you know,
bumps and go
Trying to
that way.
avoid them.
I
Still
do.
have some of
That's why you go there.
I like to go
You,
to bumps.
no,
Can you stay
you
home
do
on
not.
Street
But
too?
Warren.
Say that again?
Mike, I
Doesn't
see
Warren
you.
Street
How
have
many mornings? That
Oh,
was-
yes, it does.
Don't tell me.
It has
You go
speed
Warren.
bumps. Yes, it does.
Warren
Well, the
has
street
bumps
has
that I have to
speed
go
bumps.
over.
I know.
Warden Mill.
Yeah. one-
Okay, well, I think we've beat up
Okay,
Warren
we got
Street
it.
enough.
I'll give you
tonight.
these now. Casey.
This is wrong.
Yeah, I'm not contesting that it's a problem. I'm just.
No, I understand, no, I
Wanted
didn't
to have
take it
like
that way,
a
I think,
Bigger picture from myself to, in terms of making
Yeah.
little decisions, because I think we do have a couple of hot spots. That's the hottest right now.
right, that seems to be
Getting
the one
there,
that
most of
brought
it.
our attention to it when somebody was having some kind of a function, party, whatever you wanna say it. And they were parked on both sides of the street and it becomes very narrow. So we'll see what we can do, thank you. Okay,
We need a narrow fire truck. So.
Well, 100 inches wide, that's the narrowest.
Can, be like this and then go. whoop?
Those are expensive. Tillers.
Oh, geez, I don't want a tiller in our.
No.
village. They'd never make it on our street.
Oh, my God. They can make it anywhere, but
Yeah, but
they're
not,
expensive. Like $3 million.
so
Okay.
Dan, you have anything? for
Okay,
us?
yeah.
We'll start here and go this
Keep
way
going.
today. Yep.
At last meeting, I asked for a cost of the legal fees that we spent on the lawsuits that we had regarding the property up there.
I have not compiled that yet.
Okay,
I'll do that.
Just, and at the same time, I would like to see what the cost is.
Yeah.
And I know that, we luckily, or not luckily, but because what we did was the right thing, thanks to Mike Jones and to the planning board, they were exonerated or whatever that word is. And I'd like to thank them, but I want the, village, residents to know
Okay,
about the amount of money we had to spend because of the lawsuits that we had to go through.
figure that out.
Thank you. Also, this weekend, I think it's this weekend, I'm sure there should be a sign on, but there isn't. It's Wicked Woods and Wicked, what?
It is on the board this weekend.
Oh, is it on there? Is this?
Mhm.
It's up. Okay, so Wicked Woods is a thing that they have at Green Lake, so if you're interested. And you go up and you drive around the campground. They get to camp there for free, the people that come in get to camp there for free if they decorate. The condition is they have to decorate. Now, I've gone on Friday and don't go on Friday because it's not decorated. Saturday, it says Saturday, 6 to 8:30, but Saturday anytime. Drive around, you go up. There's some pretty unique decorations.
Pack a lunch and a dinner because it's crowded.
Crowded.
Pack a lunch and dinner because it's crowded.
Yeah,
Again,
if you go at night.
Saturday nights. really
Yeah, but
busy.
you can go. Yeah, no, you have to bring canned goods.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't
You're
eat,
you're
you can
being-
eat them.
You'll be in traffic for a while. Bring a lunch and a dinner.
Do people
Okay.
drive up and around and
Yeah.
out?
It's wall to wall.
Are they handing out candy? I mean, is this just?
It's a lot. They do some trunk stuff too there, I think. And then they walk down on the beach.
Yeah, oh
It's-
yeah, we got,
Yeah.
recreation is involved in it.
Recreation was making candy and I
Did
think
you
they
say
said they give them to the
trunk?
campers.
Trunk stuff, the
A trunk or treat.
trunk or treat things they do.
It's a collective effort with the rec departments for like Manlius, Fayetteville,
Oh.
and Green Lake State Park. And the drive-through concept originated with COVID, but has been very successful. And it gets more people going through, and then they have some other side things going on in addition to people going through the campgrounds to see what people have done, their campsites.
And you can't go off Route 5.
Can't what?
They
You
think
can't
they have
enter through Route
they have
5,
that-
you have to enter Green
they have
Lake
that
up to
black
290.
Can you walk? You know, there, I would
I'm not
imagine,
sure about the walking, but the main, there's only one entrance open, so everything
Yeah.
goes in and out the same entrance.
They block off the roof back.
so oh, you go.
Use the
in-
main entrance, not
Okay.
Route 5.
Yeah. But they have really good parking lot there, I would imagine, instead of standing in line, cars, you could just park and.
Oh, no, they have all kinds of stuff. They
Yeah,
have crafts and.
Yeah.
I don't know what our crafts are this year. We have a different one.
I have grandchildren, I might just.
Oh,
have to
yeah,
go.
that's a.
My.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jane?
oh, my turn?
Yep.
Okay, so. Um. Garden is done, community garden is done. As far as I understand, it was successful. We had, some hiccups during the season, which I think was a little annoying to several gardeners, and I don't blame them, but the water situation did get resolved, and I think the latter half of the season went well. And I will find out for sure if we want, I think the garden setup itself will continue next year. It was popular, it was well used. And whether we actually have a community garden, one single garden to be harvested for community purposes is what I'll double check with everybody if they're still interested in doing that. If we have new interest in doing that. So hopefully we do and we can continue. We had some good harvest and the senior center benefit, and some flowers and some food and, some herbs that they used in the kitchen and some vegetables, and so all good. Yeah,
This year was a combination, right, of individuals and community
Yes.
pots? Yeah.
yes, which I would expect for next year too.
Oh,
There's plenty of room for a combination.
Yeah.
There's still like a side corner of that whole area that wasn't used at all. So if we wanted to enlarge the community garden, we could.
Yeah.
So that's great. The cottage is just about done. The little bit of electrical work will be done hopefully this week, and then we just need new doors so that we can make sure it's closed properly. Right now, there's doors there, but they don't close properly. So then we're done, and we'll need to discuss how we want to use it. How, if you haven't been there, you should go look at it. It's pretty cool.
are we gonna do anything to like clean up the garden before the end of the year? Like, I think you had said you wanted to take it all out, but what's there, right?
Which garden? Oh,
Well, the
cottage garden.
landscaping, say around the.
the landscaping around the
Yeah,
cottage.
yeah.
I would like to take it all out. I was gonna talk to Tyler about it. I thought maybe while they were collecting all of our leaves, maybe right after that, they could get up there and just mow it all down. There are some selective pieces, but they're so selective, it may not be worth our time to try to keep them. So, and then we could start fresh in the spring.
There's some bushes in different parts that, just a good clipping might be okay, but the front garden could be
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah. Plus there's behind the cottage, between the cottage and the barn. There's some tremendous overgrowth there, but it's getting overrun by some invasives, and one of which is poison ivy, and I think we need to get on top of that. If we're gonna encourage activity up there. So that's a senior, we have a beautiful mural on the barn. But I'll let Casey talk about that, and so.
Partially why I'm interested in the pretty garden. But yeah, we'll get to that after Mark.
There is a public meeting tonight on the zoning update. It's the first of many public meetings. Those who are interested in learning about what we're talking about and where we're thinking of taking the zoning code. Zoning regulations come tonight, but if you can't come tonight, don't worry about it. We are not proposing any new language or new code tonight. It's just an introduction to what we're doing and how we're doing it so that people can start getting educated and learning what's going on, and they're not overwhelmed with, here's the update, that will be sometime next year. But 6 to 8 at the senior center, it is an open house, which means you come anytime you want between 6 and 8, stay as long as you want, and you're not going to miss any presentation or any other kind of explanation. You come in there. Several of us will be there, ready to talk with anybody about any aspect of this. So that's for tonight. And the final thing that I wanted to mention is I learned about a potential, well, the funding sources there is through Onondaga County Planning Department, is called Greenways and Blueways. It is intended to assist any local municipality who has an interest in a project to improve upon any trails or pathways. Those are the greenways on land. Or to encourage any fishing or other water use on waterways. Those are the blueways. And I learned that what we have down in Canal Landing Park is eligible, very much eligible for this funding source. So there's a lot yet to still learn. I did confirm that we do have a lease with New York State Parks to use, it's a use lease, and it's to use all of the lands in Canal Landing Park, including the feeder canal, for recreational use. Now, that is something the village has with New York State Parks, and the feeder canal is a waterway, legitimate waterway. So there is some consideration of perhaps a small watercraft, a kayak launch, something like that off the feeder canal. But a lot of improvement, a lot of other decisions, details have to be understood.
I go to the canal meetings, so Mike sent me, makes me go.
Went to the Chenango Canal,
So,
your canal museum in
That's great.
Chenango.
so, yeah,
That's
so
great.
we always,
We should talk.
we always get talked.
Yeah, that's awesome because
I've given one report. It was wrong,
Well,
so she doesn't call me.
oh, no more.
If it was that simple.
So I got, you left, are you done with the senior center, the wine and cheese?
I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, please
Yeah,
mention
okay.
that.
The wine and cheese,
There's a wine and cheese event this
yes, 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
a week
On a
from
Saturday.
tomorrow,
We,
Yes.
yeah.
A silent
Yeah.
auction.
Yeah,
or a week
and-
from Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was there today, I stopped in occasionally and it's really seemed more vibrant than it was before. And I don't know what the reason is, or whether it's the organization that they now have going on, but of course, Jill was there with her art class, always oversold. And you know, she always has more people that want to get in than get in, but she does a great job.
Active adults, which we've
What?
got to get in the habit of using.
It's called the Senior Center. It's this,
Faithful.
At the
Active
center.
senior.
There's that
Active
little
it's
adult.
center
just,
for-
no
I didn't
senior,
mention-
right?
I
Just
didn't- I
center
didn't say
for
it.
active
Yeah,
adults.
Faithful Center for. Old
I did an
Active Adults.
acronym. I did-
For older adults.
For active adults. For active adults. I didn't say that.
I have to admit, every time I have to speak there or whatever, I write it down so I say it more, because I cannot just think of it anymore. I
Yeah, it's a
set my mind that way.
It's a CFA.
So anyway,
Active adults.
The 24th is one.
The 24th is a great opportunity for all of us to attend, see what's going on at the Center for Active Adults, show our support, have some fun with a silent auction, enjoy some cheese and wine, cheese and crackers, wine and crackers, whatever. Yeah, that's all good. And I don't, talked about zoning, talked about this potential, new potential, and I think that's all good. I'm all done.
I'll be rather quick. I want to actually jump on the things that Jane talked about, because we've been talking about things which has been very interesting. Your greenways and blueways is a very vital piece. That's something we've been looking at and talking about a lot over the years, trying to figure out how to do different things within our community to accentuate the assets of our blueways and our greenways. There's no question about it. So you and I have talked a little bit about that, and hopefully we can find a solution for some of the things that would be vital for our community. The other part going with that is the zoning update this evening. Working on that is. Casey asked me when I went, "Oh, big night tonight." Yes, it is. It's a big night because it's our first public appearance with it, and trying to understand if we're going in the right direction, and want the public to actually let us know what's going on so we can actually be responsive to what's happening along the way. That's
Yeah.
a very vital part
Yeah.
On what we're trying to do. I don't anticipate that we've got everything 100% right that we've worked on so far. And I also anticipate it's not 100% wrong either. So we'll figure out where we are in the middle ground, and that's important. The other thing I just wanted to say, Mary, one of the things you pointed out was the unintended consequences that we, when we make decisions along the way. That's always one of the things that we always have to look at, no matter what we do, and it's exceedingly difficult. You know that, I know that, and we still try not to make mistakes, but we still do. And I gotta say that, because that's exactly what goes on, but it is the kind of thing that when we do a lot of things, we must remember they're not permanent. We always have a track back on many things along the way. There are a few things that are not, and they are permanent, and we have to remember which permanent and what's not along the way, and where we can actually move in different directions. So I'll just leave it at that point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jason?
Well, I think I'm just gonna give you a little pat on the back. The kitchen composting workshop was really interesting, and I felt like I learned a lot, and you know.
I didn't even
good
think about
discussion.
talking about that, because for me, it's just like what I talk about every day.
So, that was like 100 years ago, right?
Yeah,
But no, it was really good, and I look forward to continuing to develop that program. It's
Thank
really
you.
great. So, yeah, my big news, is that the mural went up on the barn. Pretty soon after we said, okay, we got the county approval, Brandon went right to it. And, he put it up last Tuesday in the rain with his dad. So I have a whole bunch of pictures, more than Karen will want to use, but I have a bunch of pictures. He came back on Saturday to do a little bit of touch up. And on Sunday, he was at the Indigenous Peoples' Day celebration. And I got to talk to him again, and we got out our calendars, and we are going to have some kind of an event. I don't know what to call it, because it's not an unveiling, and it's, you know, not a dedication. If anybody has a word, November 1st at 2 p.m. I talked to Janet today. And it works for them. They don't have anything else going on there. And I think,
Bailing event, I don't know.
I know. I don't know. I'm stuck on that one. So I'm glad for all of you to be able to meet Brandon in person. He's a great guy. He continues to do more and more projects. This will be a good opportunity for dialogue. He's named it Friendship Garden, and in recognition of that idea that this mural was supposed to fit in neatly with our community garden and our memory garden and whatever little garden we have in front of the stone cottage, bringing that together. And there's more to say, but I'll save it for November 1st. Unless anyone has any questions.
Is there gonna be a sign explaining that? I mean, there's a lot of, is that gonna be there by November 1st or?
Probably not. There
Symbolism.
probably won't be a sign there for November 1st, but we're gonna be working on the appropriate sign to put
There's
there.
a lot of symbolism there that people won't know what it is without.
Yeah, it actually, I agree with you, and there are ideas on the table, kind of like we're sitting for a bunch of months in the county, and then we got the approval, so now it's taking the next steps about the educational piece, meeting with we'll do some kind of presentation, Janet and I talked about in March at the senior center, but there will be written things, we'll try to get it on the website and possibly with the library too, so. We do have something that we can just produce really quickly, so we will have something written on that day. But we haven't discussed exactly what we want in terms of signage there. And it's not gonna last forever, so you know, it's wood and we need to appreciate it while we can.
So with that, we can always, create whatever we're gonna put for verbiage and stuff and have it laminated and kind of tack it there for somebody that walks up to see it, but and the sign isn't going to be a big sign that you wouldn't have to walk up to see it, but until we can actually get a sign made for it, I would be glad to have work with Casey, we'll get something written up that I can laminate and we can post there so people could read it, even though it's a kind of like it's a temporary type of thing.
I mean, there's just so much symbolism in it that a lot of people, they don't know that story is recognized it.
I think that. You know, me and signs.
Right.
So I think maybe having this narrative laminated and available. Not just, I mean, obviously right there on the barn.
Yeah,
but
just a.
in the senior, in the center itself, but also here. And then for a while, maybe right after your November 1st. Um.
Event.
Unveiling event, maybe we have. A portion of our website dedicated to its explanation.
Mhm.
I think people would think to go to the website before. Or
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know if the Center for Active Adults would even consider putting it on their website.
Could create the same thing that could probably be posted on both sites.
Yeah.
Right, same thing, and that doesn't also have to be posted forever. It could be a temporary. Number of weeks,
Posted along with the event, the news,
and then you
page.
should have permanent information at the library.
Yeah, there has been some discussion about video, and a little bit of discussion about URLs. I'm not the most tech savvy person when it comes to that, but I'm open to that. Because there's a lot, and it connects to the Gage House very nicely with their Haibashani room. And also, there's other connections. I remember Dan asking questions. The executive director of the Gage House, her last name is Eaton. Her husband is in the Eaton family. And they go back to the time when, before the military tracks were defined. So there's some information that Carrie has for us about that period of time. Yeah, so it's gonna be an opportunity to have dialogue and learn. And I like the fact that we focused on food because it's a connection with all of us. And Brandon wanted to call it Friendship Garden with that idea, of connection.
There's an Eaton working at the Gage.
Yeah, the executive director's name is Carrie Eaton, and so her husband is a descendant of I guess a major headstone in the cemetery and has a long history going back into the 1700s, I believe, but don't quote me on that.
Well, I'm gonna go, and I'll go and meet him. I wanna see what he knows. What she knows.
Yeah. I just love opportunity, like we just discussed, that we gotta think a little bit more about, where those opportunities are for us to promote and to explain that.
Yep.
We
So-
just thought of a lot of them. right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's maybe more too. So
Yeah, I had sent all of you a memo again many months ago about the various things that we would do, but it's gonna take time. And this happens to be a pretty busy time for the tree commission, so I couldn't just jump on this right away.
That's right.
To do those steps. But I will get something. The tree commission has a community tree planting scheduled for Sunday, October 26th. From 12 to 4. We'll gather here at Village Hall, and depending on who comes, we will divide up into small groups with at least one person who is very knowledgeable about tree planting. Coming from the community tree stewards of Cooperative Extension, and we're going to plant some trees. So hopefully we'll have a good weather day, which would, maybe bring out a few families, and it's in the
something-
newsletter.
Okay. Need to post something on the website.
Yeah, I have something for you.
Do you have a location? Do you have a number of trees that you will plant or hope to plant?
That's in progress.
Okay.
Right now, we don't have. We need to go door to door to get responses from the people who haven't responded to us. Because we don't have phone numbers for them. So we have to go back to them, and then we probably, when we have some no's, so we will pull from the site list off the management plan.
And these are people who may be the recipients of trees?
Yes,
Okay.
those are the recipients of the trees, so that's in terms of who's
Right,
gonna go,
yeah.
yeah. I think we asked for registration for, RSVP, I think we asked for. So
Are all the trees that were going to be taken down, have they been taken down? Is that like phase of this tree process, is that all done? I have not
It's-
paid attention.
it is, I've asked Mike and I think Mike and Tyler and I are gonna meet very soon to discuss some of that. It looks like there's a couple of trees that need to come down, but, you know, frankly, not having had an active tree commission, and things kind of still percolating a little bit. We need to, I've talked about this with Karen and Mike before, we need to kind of, figure out a smoother, clarified flow of who's doing what, when and how, because I go into DPW and I take a picture of their whiteboard and there's tree activity, things from the residents come in, they can come into Mike, to Tyler, they can come through Karen now, we have an email, so they're coming in a few different directions. And some things are not appropriate for tree commission to be making decision about, so there's
Yeah.
a,
Okay.
it's gonna take a while.
And the DPW typically, if they are able to take the trees down, they do it kind of in the off season. So
Yeah.
they do it more fall, winter time
Right.
than they do spring, summer, early fall. They do it later fall through the winter. They have some downtime on some of the other projects and things that they do. So we're coming into the time of year where they would be more active to do some of that.
And we do have a draft of an RFP for the $50,000 work, which is going to Ted next for like review to see if it's right. Probably didn't do this as efficiently as we could have in retrospect. We did a lot of research, and then when it came down to it, I was like, Lori, can you just give us the fire department's RFP for the roof? And all of a sudden we can turn it around really quickly just with the tree information. So the RFP is not very complicated, and it just, takes the roof information out, puts the tree information in. So, I would hope by next meeting I could say, what the RFP timeline process will be, but then the work can get done in the winter.
Yeah.
So two things about police committee. I have a meeting next Wednesday, but at the last meeting, I gave you a partial report on it last time. And two things. One is that there's now a standing agenda item that is a report out or request from the village. So whatever we might want to communicate directly with the chief. For instance, Mary just mentioned speeding on Redfield. It could be as simple as that. But anything that we want to have that two-way dialogue with. So that's something we can all think about. And then the second thing was that, and this had a lot of discussion around it, is that the chair of the committee, William Nicholson, town councilor, had asked for us as a village board to give input on the facility question. And I have to say, I was a little surprised because I was like, that's you guys, but he was like, well, you're elected representatives. And I'm like, well, we're elected representatives of 4,000 people. You're elected representatives of 33,000 people. So there was a little bit of like, well, what do you want? So I think we need to keep it as simple, or get into it as much as we want. And I'm not asking us to do this tonight. I'm just kind of floating the idea out there so everyone knows. Mike and I discussed it once, but I almost wonder if this is something we can do through email, but I put it out to you because I wasn't really sure how to do this, because I didn't think, I was like, I don't know that this fits with our meetings to get into
I don't
this.
even know what the question is.
I had a problem with the question too. Sorry. Mike answered it pretty.
Well, the way I viewed it when I talked with Casey about it, because we had a conversation, because it was brand new and she talked to me about it, I believe, or fairly new to her, the request was fairly new, was that he was asking what the village's input in is as for what we would want to see in a new town fire or police department facility. My opinion is that what I want to see is what the police, right, I want to see what the police need. I don't know what the police need. I don't do that job. I'm not a fireman. I don't know what the firemen need. I rely on them to tell me what they need. So do I want them to have you know, like I will say the word Taj Mahal, but I don't mean it that way. Do they want, do they need everything that they're going to request, or can they work their way through that with the town building study and things in general, like for the town offices? It was my understanding from attending the meeting that they talked about that, just as an example, not necessarily whatever, but you know, it was said at that meeting that each department head was asked for what they wanted, and then this company put together a proposal as to what they were proposing to replace the whole town hall, plus the police department, plus this or that. My only opinion is I would like to see where any opportunity for sharing services. And I don't mean sharing services of police to a town clerk, but I mean sharing services of a facility. So if they have a conference room that it could be used for several different groups within the town of Manly, say, or if they have an office space or whatever it is, that kind of thing. I don't really have an opinion on what I want to see in the police department. I want a safe environment for our policemen and the people that work there that are not policemen. And I want a safe or a restrictive environment for the criminals. I mean, the people that are accused, whatever, they may not be criminals just yet, but they're certainly there for a reason. So I want to make sure that they are, you know,
They're
safe
secure
and
and
secure. And that the police are safe and secure. Other than that, I really don't have an opinion. I don't know, like, if, you know, I mean, we shouldn't be getting into the weeds of like how many bathrooms they have or where they're located or how they're located or whatever. That's just, again, a wild example, but
Yeah.
I don't have those answers. I don't know what to even suggest. That's what,
I sort of said that at the meeting. I was
Yeah.
like, well, we are not.
that's what
diving
you and I
into
talked
this.
about. I was
Yeah,
just
we're not diving
recapping
into-
that.
You said, the other thing you had said was, you know, that it meets all legal requirements.
Right, yeah.
You mentioned the working conditions, you know, OSHA and
Right.
the
I
standard.
mean, all the standard stuff that's gonna make their job easy to do their job and efficient to do their job. That's the kind of thing I wanna see in whatever facility. If they're gonna replace their facility, I wanna see that happening. The conversations that they have about being in an elementary school and their bathroom facilities being for elementary students. It's not that hard to replace the toilet. I don't know why that
Change the
hasn't been
fixture.
done
You know,
like
it's,
50 years ago or whatever time it's been, you know? I mean, that's an easy fix. Some of the other stuff that they described that's goes on at the police department that they currently work out of should be addressed and fixed. I agree 100% with that, but I don't have the wherewithal to say this or that should be the item.
As liaison to the town, I actually understand that this is actually a multifaceted question. And the question really is, what do you want to know about? What our thoughts are about it? Because the other part, it doesn't seem in any of the studies that they've done so far, whether or not those questions have actually been asked to be addressed properly, because they make an assumption normally at the beginning of the process that we're going to do such and such. And I need to know what are the different options as far as how we can solve the problem. We're not being, you know, we're not looking at it from the public's point of view. They're not looking at where we actually have different options in how we solve the problem. We're looking at it where this is how we want to solve the problem versus there are many ways to solve the problems. Here are some of them. Here's what we think might work. And then we look at it that way. What they're basically doing is say, here's where we want to go. We don't know how they got there.
but Mark, you're talking about the process more than the.
Yeah, and it really is part of the process because,
Process comments.
yeah, well, the problem with that is I don't know what questions to answer until I'm in the process.
No, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. We didn't get involved, we, the public, didn't get involved in the process, so.
No.
We have no comment on the facility because we don't know what isn't there, what could have been there, or any of that. And then I'm just gonna say, I echo what everybody else said.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult because I know William and it's kind of, he's trying to do what's right and trying to make things happen. But I don't
It's
know,
not difficult.
what
I
you
think
just said
that he
about the
posed a
police
very,
department,
very,
it takes
very
hard
open
work to get to where you need to
to
be.
Casey, and there's
Dan-
no.
Dan wants it to become a federal police department.
Again? He wants to go back to
I don't know
'84,
if
take
you
it
want-
back.
I think it's too open-ended. I think
Yeah.
it's far too, that as a municipal leader who is serviced by this police department, the question is too open-ended for me. that our answer is so obvious. We want a well-constructed, safe, secure, functioning, inexpensive, so, I mean, what are we supposed to do? So it's too open-ended.
Dan, did you want to make any other comment?
No.
Okay.
And
That was my reaction. I was like, wait a minute.
No, no,
we're
you
not-
were at a loss when we talked about it.
Yeah,
as
I
to
was
what
like,
to
wait, we're
understand.
not studying this. We don't know. That's
Yeah.
not our job.
We
And that's
also-
not what we do here. in
no,
our
it's,
board.
it's, I don't think anybody here has an opinion on whether the police facility needs to be attached to the government facility, that needs to be attached to the recreational facility. We don't have any opinions of that because we don't know what our options are. So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that's
And I
it.
mean, they've been working in a particular situation for 40 years. And has that been we don't have questions that are answered about what's going on. That's my
agree.
problem.
I said, if we were gonna take this in any other way than I think we're doing now, because I think we're fulfilling the assignment. That would require us to
Do
be
our
more
own-
involved and to do work and,
Do our own
which study are you
research.
talking
Yeah.
about? So
If he wants.
anyhow, I was a little thrown by the question too. I can also understand William trying to engage us as a village with this being our police department too. So the thing of putting it on the agenda, we'll always have a place on the agenda to bring something. I think that was a good move. And then this other thing, I think what I will do is try to make a summary of what this discussion is, run it by you guys and see, and keep it pretty simple.
Works.
Okay. I'm done.
I just want to take 1 minute or less and mention that the Parks Commission has been. Mildly active. I think they all got really busy in the summer, but they recently reached out to Dr. Margaret Bryant, who is, I believe, now the president of, I don't know if I have that title correct. She's running ESF. I believe she is running ESF. I don't know where Mark and Dr. Bryant interconnected. I don't know how their relationship is, but he did reach out to her and talk to her about the possibility of having ESF students review the Parks Master Plan or a portion of the Parks Master Plan with the thought that they would come up with some additional concepts and ideas for us to consider. I think it's a safe enough ask. It's not binding on us. It certainly is good for us to have some exposure to ESF. And so we don't have any answer yet. She's gonna go talk to the professor of the studio to determine whether and if they're interested. If they are interested, when, So I'll get back to you.
And FYI, I work with ESF a lot for another organization, actually co-sponsor a program that we work together on. And
Oh.
we actually do the funding of it.
Oh.
So just to give you an idea of what goes on.
Yeah.
And so I'm familiar with a lot of the people and it becomes an interesting game because right now they're under severe financial stress.
Yeah.
And it's one of the major concerns that's going on right now. And I don't know how to put that any other way because
There's no other way.
It's a state school,
that's correct.
Technically, they rent from SU.
Yeah, well, it's a state school. They've done a whole bunch of things, but they've done things in order to cut back on their costs, et cetera. They're doing all their purchasing out of SUNY at Brockport.
Yeah.
They're doing things into a variety of different locations in order to manage it. And that's sort of interesting. But it does show their dedication to try to deal with it. The other part that I find very remarkable is that I personally believe that ESF is a unique program and offers unique programs in the United States, period. I don't think there's a good match elsewhere in the United States, and ESF is one of our crown jewels around here. And so when I can work with them, I'm very pleased because I feel like we're working on the edge of what's going on many times. So it's very, very important. I work with them on environmental issues and private other things along the way. And the president there, Joni Mahoney, has been very good at running what's going on also. So it's interesting.
Okay, you're good.
I'm good.
Mike,
Real quick, New York State's coming out with their new codes January 1st. In-service training will be happening in December and following April. But added to the code. There's like 182 more pages.
Did you say 182 more pages?
Are those new codes available currently?
Uh,
I'm asking only because I know how New York State works.
yeah, you can get them online.
Okay. Could you share that with us so that I can take a,
Essentially, just go to a builder. Builder's gonna tell you.
no, they won't.
Synopsis.
Yeah, they're just giving me all sorts of
They're
heat.
gonna
That's what
give
they
you
do.
synopsis.
You don't tell me what's going on. I know how this works.
Well, they got the new thing, it's starting on the electric.
Yeah, there's a lot to
No,
all.
no gas.
Energy code, bill code, residential.
Go to our favorite builder here on Mill Street.
Sugar?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the builders. You know that too. If you'd forward that to me, I'd appreciate it. If no one else wants it, it doesn't
I'll
matter. But
forward it to you.
I appreciate it very much
Um,
because I do anticipate at some point we're going to have to enact those within the village codes also, just as a matter of formality, because we're going to have to do it anyway. And we've done it previously. Because that's New York, it becomes New York State law and we have to just pull it in. So I just want to see where we're going. That's all.
I don't think there's any legislatively we have to do, because we already adopted the
Yeah,
state. Can't wait.
well, the other part is I want to hear what I want to see versus what I hear in the news all the time. Forgive me, because I hear more misdirection about the codes
Oh, yeah.
that the state is putting forward than anything else too.
And also, you're going through the zoning updates in the village.
It becomes a very important piece to take a look at some of
In
this.
line with what you wanna do, or is it fight against it? Because
Yeah.
right now, the current code probably would fight against it. But, you know, I don't know where it's, if it all came through code committee, or this is created through the state, legislative branch. So,
Well, there'll be some of it that will actually be forced into it, but generally. Pieces we're dealing with now don't have much to do with that per se.
With the building code.
Yeah, with some of the codes at this point in time, but they will get there. You know what I mean? And so that'll be a piece of it. When we go down the road.
All right, thank you. Mary, you have anything or?
Have you talked to Hanover? No?
I haven't heard anything from them. So not yet. Unless you've heard
I
something.
kinda heard something this morning. Regarding, they wanna come in for their sign package, but they don't wanna say what the name is.
Okay,
I'm like, how do you?
so evidently there's
There's.
at least right, at least there's still some interest then, right? So that's good for the village. That they're still
funny.
interested in the site at least.
General
And
grocery
that's
store.
right, we'll see where we go. But that's what we know. All right. motion
And
to-
everything that they do will be through Mike?
No, they assign,
You have to go to
they
the
would
planning
need,
board?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
They may need a variance on the signage.
So you've seen it already?
No,
Oh, okay.
and with mixed message, we're coming in for a sign application, we can't really tell you what the name of it is, and we might need a variance. How can I calculate anything without actually seeing it?
Knowing what it is. Okay,
Did we decide what to do on hybrid car wash?
we decided not to do anything.
Oh, okay.
Correct. That's what I remember. Yes.
It just said in the minutes that
Yeah.
we were gonna get more information.
We discussed it, but we didn't do it. We decided not to do anything at the
Table.
time. We just got kind of tabled.
At the time.
If the grocery store does proceed, then I've had some conversations with Lori and Jane about Mike's role with codes and or perhaps making sure that we get somebody that's, if you needed help or if you a second set of eyes, because it'll probably be a well-watched project, and we just spent well over 100,000, I would guess, without the exact number on legal fees, and I don't intend to expect to want to spend any more money on legal fees by having any little glitches come up along the way, or problems along the way, so I think we'll look at all that. As things develop, that's just kind of a broad statement and idea at this point in time, but I want to make it clear that whatever we're gonna do, we protect our tax dollars as much as
Yeah.
possible when it comes to that. And spending a little money might be protecting money for the taxpayers also. But with that, motion to
Move to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
Okay, thank you.
so Mark. Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
This section.